Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilk. A lot to talk about today. We'll be getting into some spring football. We'll be talking to Ashton Moore, linebacker for Alpharetta. Finding out about his freshman year. Has a lot of major offers, 3 SEC offers just this far. He is blowing up in the recruiter world, so we're going to talk to him. Then we're going to tell the tape, breaking down some film from Campbell, Centennial quarterback, and also Levi Mundt. Some analysis, things that stood out to me, some things they can work on, and really impressed with both of their films. I think if they work on these things as well, they'll be able to take the next level in their process. And then we're getting to the latest in recruiting with me, major offers for major prospects in the state of Georgia. That'll be a quick segment. And then we'll talk about the 707 tournament that is right around the corner. It actually starts June 13th on a Wednesday. That's about 2 weeks away. So we are very excited for that. We'll be streaming, I think, the quarterfinals onward for those major teams. So I'll be revealing what teams are in right now. It might be a little bit of a shake-up later, but I'll be talking about that. And in the third segment, hopefully, I'm going to try to have on head coach for Cambridge, Craig Bennett. We'll see, kind of play that one by ear, but I just want to learn more about his team, his quarterback, and all the weapons that they have. And then obviously we'll close out with my top 10 headlines for the weekend. But without further ado, let's head ahead and bring on rising sophomore linebacker, Ashton Moore. What's going on, Ashton?
Nothing. Just thankful.
I hear you, man. So I know, I think you have finals today, man. How'd your finals shape out? How excited are you to go into sophomore year?
My final did good, but I'm excited for my upcoming sophomore year and just building more and trying to be always 10 times better than my freshman year. It's just glad to stack up against better competition with Alpharetta.
Got you. And then we're going to roll your tape here soon. I wanted to analyze a little bit along with you, but what really stood out to me for you, man, is just your versatility, right? You're a middle linebacker, but I seen you used in various ways, right? I seen you kind of rush off the edge. I seen you, playing middle linebacker. I seen you playing coverage. Just what allows you to be so versatile as a player?
Well, it allows me to be so versatile as a player. I can just see the field, and I can just read the field, and I think that what makes me good as I am because I can play all over. I can rush off the edge, and that's what a lot of people like about me because my first 2 steps off the edge is very explosive,
It
and that's
is.
what allows me to just be so good. Because when your first 2 steps explosive, it's like the lineman can't get their hands on you. And then with me being a lot faster than a lot of linebackers, it gives me the edge over a lot of linemen.
So let's talk about that. That quick two-step that you were just talking about. Now, was that kind of just work in the off season? Was that prior to you going to high school? How did that all work?
Well, the 2 step is always like even since my youth ball, when I didn't like been training with
Got the
my
clip.
dad and my trainer Rip Lindsay, it's like always like it's just about like it. I didn't always had it like, but when I got in high school, a lot of people just said it stood out on my game because my the first 2 steps you take off the game off the
Hmm.
ball is the most 2 important steps. And then with me knowing that I can just get off the ball that fast, it's like nobody can stop me when I'm that fast. But them first 2 steps, I work on it every day. That
Got you.
always said.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second, Ashton. I want to pull up your clip. Hold on. I got to help real quick. 1 sec. All right, Ashton. Sorry about that. I was trying to talk to you at the same time and then kind of show some of your clips because I thought they were really, really impressive. Like this one right here, you're going to come off and you're going to make a big play right here, and then you just disrupt the whole flow. And like you said, back to your 1-2 step, right? You're coming off quick off the line. You don't see this from middle linebackers a lot, right? Normally, it takes them a little bit of time, but you already have this as a freshman coming off the line, being disruptive, creating turnovers, creating big plays for the defense. So, I mean, I'm really impressed with just the film that you have so far.
Yeah, like I think like that's something that really sticks out on my film. I think
Yes.
it's just because I can play, I can play outside, I play safety. Wherever you need me, I can play, and ability.
Totally agree. And then some other questions I have for you was, when did you start playing the sport of football? What really attracted you to the sport? What just allowed you to want to be, a football player? How did that start?
Well, it all because I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi, and I was back with my father, just like watching football on the couch with him. Then with my mother watching football, and once like I started football at the age of 5 with the South Jackson Cardinals, and then I worked my way up and I played with a national team called the Mississippi Wolfpack, top rank. And it just like football has always been in me. My dad played, my uncle played. Like football has always been in my generation, in my bloodline. So like football just always been something I love, and if I think like even with my mom when she found out I really wanted to play football, we took it serious and we worked, and that's how I got to where I am now.
Got you. And then what are some things that you want to improve from freshman year to sophomore year that you've been working on in the spring? I know you just had your spring game. Tell me a little bit about the spring game, how that went, and just what are some things you want to continue to improve upon?
Well, some things I do want to improve on is like getting off the ball way faster, and then tackling. Because a lot of coaches have watched my film and said I am a very good player, but it's just like my tackling. Because when I was a freshman, I was a lot smaller, so I feel like I was a little timid on line, and that's just something I want to improve. And then my coverage, so I can play anywhere. So I'll be every down backer, and I won't come off the field. And the spring game, we unfortunately lost, and I unfortunately got hurt. I got hurt, and I only played 2 plays, but it's okay. I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Got you. And then let's talk a little bit about that, right? Let's talk about the injury. Like, where did you get hurt? I know you said 2 week recovery, so obviously not too severe, but what happened?
Um, Gainesville threw a screen pass. I ran down, got the tackle, but one of my teammates came and hit me in my ankle, and I messed up
Oh,
my ankle and I bruised it.
got you. Okay, so a bruised ankle that will definitely take a couple of weeks. Okay, and then I know you was talking about being a little timid freshman year, right? And still kind of fit in the fold. But again, you got a lot of playing time, which is good. I think you were fourth in tackles on your team. So how much mass have you added far as just, squatting, building muscle? How much have you added from just freshman year on to now?
Well, since freshman year, I have exploded. Like when I first came down here from Mississippi, I was 160. I was very linebacker. Now I'm 191, 6'1". Even I didn't really take the weight room serious coming in my 8th grade year. Now I take the weight. I feel the competition bigger. Everybody got want to keep playing at a high level. My 2 steps, like yeah, it's explosive and it helps me, but
Right.
getting bigger will make me be that one player that I can play for years in college and hopefully make it to the league.
Now let's talk about that again, right? You talked about not taking it serious, but now you're into it. So walk me through what's kind of your schedule look like, right? Obviously you got practices and things like that, but what do you do outside of the practice with Coach Curvin, outside of the practice with the team? What do you do in your off time in order to keep building your muscle and things like that? Do you do calisthenics? Do you lift weights? Do you do pre workouts, post workout? What are some things you do? What's your regimen?
So when I'm outside of school, I train, and then I also play 707 for the money team. and and I just keep myself rolling. Like I train every other day, and then also I work out at home by myself with my mom, and I do jump rope just to keep me like on my toes, just to keep me working. Cause if I just did it at practice, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So extra work, I always got to get it, and then also taking care of my body, getting nutrients, certain type of things. But my schedule is like I have a 7-on-7 tournament this weekend, with the money team. So it's just like I'm always active with football. That's all. Like always active.
Gotcha. You got to be definitely some almost year round, so you got to stay in shape. So tell me, man, how excited have you been this off season? Just picking up those major offers, right? You picked up Texas A&M. You got an Ole Miss. You got an Arkansas. More teams are interested, right? So how excited has that been? Just being able to land some of those marquee offers.
Man, it's been a blessing. Like words can't describe it. when I got Ole Miss, where I'm from, one of my dream offers, where I couldn't describe it. But it's like I knew
Okay.
they were gonna come.
Switch it
It
to
just
three.
been excitement,
To three.
especially with the recruiting
You gotta
progress.
go in it.
Like Arkansas, make it feel like it's home. Texas A&M make it feel like it's home, and Ole Miss basically already home. So it just like I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that all my work pays off. Now I can finally get into recruiting progress and see where I like to play for the next 4 years.
Got you. And then talk to me, Ashton. What is the impact you told me about your family, your uncle playing, your dad playing, but what is the impact your dad's had on your life? Just what football, outside of football, what are some things he's been telling you just to continue to get to where you want to be in life?
Like he helped me with the mental part. Even my mother didn't help me with the mental part, but he also helped me with the football, learning just how to control myself, learning how to just understand the game. He have taught me a lot about understanding the game because he played tackle, he played offensive tackle at Hodgman College. So he helped me understand how linemen work, how linemen move, so I can counterpart off linemen and I can be the player I am. But he didn't help me. He didn't help me outside of football, just being a dad every day, just being supportive. The same with my mom, being supportive, just helping me in this progress of me being where I'm at. And I'm blessed to have both of them.
Definitely, and that definitely is going to help you going forward. You got a good support group. So I know you got some camps you're participating into this summer that I heard about. Just what are some of those? Obviously, I know you're on the money team 707, but what are some camps you're excited to go to this summer?
I'm very excited to attend Florida camp, and I will be attending Mississippi State camp on June the 15th. And I will also be with the Alpharetta football team at Auburn June the 8th. And I will also be with them June the 17th at Alabama. So I'm very excited for the camps to work out to show people that I am the top linebacker in the nation and that I can play, I can cover. But I mean, camp season, I'm very excited to attend, and I also will be attending Ole Miss too.
Got you, man. You got a busy summer ahead. So tell me, man, what's your favorite thing about playing the linebacker position? Just what allows you just to have so much fun? Because it looked like you have fun going out there, being disruptive, causing chaos for the opposing linemen, for the running backs, and things like that. So just what do you love about the position?
What I love about linebacker is that like linebacker is like the quarterback of the defense. You see everything. You can see the pulls, you can see the reads, like you can see anything, and that's what makes me have fun. And it's not like I'm just at Jack where I just blitz all the time, I cover, I drop back, I
Yep.
can run stunts. Linebacker just allows me to play all over the field. Wherever my team need me, I can play. And that will make me have fun because I move around and I can play anywhere.
Got you. And then tell me about the relationship with your linebacking coach or even your defensive coordinator. How important do you think that is to your success for Alpharetta your freshman year and going forward? And, without going into too much detail, but what are some things you guys work on just to continue to get you better? Is it looking at film? Is it going through coverages? Is it making sure you know your assignment? Is it, adding different things to your game? What are some things that you work on with your linebacking coach or your defensive coordinator?
Um, Well, last year at Alpharetta, we didn't have no linebacker coach, so we would basically coach Earl. And one thing he helped me understand is coverages, because he also coached at Hoover. He also played at Hoover and he played at Alabama State. So it also he helped me understand just the game. Because I didn't really, as coming in as an eighth grader, you really just don't understand because you really just going running around playing football. He helped me actually slow down the game and understand what I was doing. And also, we just got in Coach Johnson as our linebacker coach, and he helping me with a lot of the tackling, being way more physical off the ball. And I feel like he helped me separate myself to have a big spring, how I have to pick up the Indies, to pick up the Texas A&M's, the Ole Miss, and the Arkansas. And also with Coach Curve just sitting me down, helping me understand how offenses work, helping me look back at film at players he didn't coach, helping me just like as he set me down and he showed me Von Miller tape. And he was like, "This what you can be." Just Michael Parsons, like just showing me can be, and I can become. He just what you can be, just if you work. And I'm blessed to have them.
I definitely can see that in your game too. I mean, as you mentioned, having the 1-2 step, but it's not just that. You're good in coverage. You're good at looking at what's going on in the field, and that's the big thing that stands out. Even as a freshman, right? there's a reason you're getting those major offers. And I think, like I said, it's the versatility. And I think you're only going to get better and better, and your tackling is going to get better. You're going to get bigger, and I think you're going to get more explosive. So, last question, man, and I'll let you go. I appreciate you taking the time today. But just what are some things you want to accomplish this year? What is that kind of goal you got circled, or a couple goals you got circled on that whiteboard or in your room that you want to accomplish with the Alpharetta Raiders this year?
Um, the goal is always to win state. Like the goal is always to win state. Even just with the team, like have the best linebacker core in Georgia, and that might be hard to do. But if you keep working, we can do it. And then just like my goal is just to be one of the top linebackers. People that coach curve, like we gonna do it this year. Even last year, we was in a hunt, and I feel like that's just some of my goals to win state. Like my freshman year, I wrote down all my goals to have over 30 tackles, to have 4+ Power 5 offers, to have the GPA. I got a 3.2 to have the GPA, to have everything. And them just when you
Yeah.
set goals, you got to accomplish me. So I have a lot of goals set for this season, and I really just want to win state.
I hear you, man. Well, I ain't gonna take no much more of your time, Ashton. Appreciate you coming on the show. Telling me a little bit more about yourself, what you got planned for this summer, and looking into your film and looking ahead to Alpharetta season. So hopefully you won't be a stranger. We'll try to have you on here again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. So, guys, Ashton Moore, linebacker for Alpharetta Raiders. He has a lot planned this summer. Definitely going to be going to some major marquee camps. A player to really, like, if you go look at his film, I mean, he's a player that is still early. There's not a lot of people talking about him. But, again, at the same time, he's underrated, but he's picking up major offers, right? Texas A&M, Ole Miss, his dream school, he told us. And then, obviously, Arkansas. So that's a player to watch out for. He's young. He's only going to get better. He seems like he's locked and loaded. His parents got him going in a good direction. They got him focused. He's very humble from the sounds of it and how we talk. So I expect him to make a big impact for the Raiders this season. And it's come to my attention they will be playing Jefferson to start the season. So I think that'll be a good matchup to see where they are. Obviously, Sammy Brown's going to be playing both sides of the field. And I got to, little bit of update on him in my top 10 headlines that people need to know about. So I'll reveal that later. But we're going to take a quick short break. See you guys on the other side for some more news and coverage.
Our mission has always been to support Georgia farmers. That's why we created Georgia Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, providing financial protection that farmers needed. While this remains the same today, we've grown to protect all Georgians through home, auto, and life insurance. From the very beginning and into the future, we stand for every Georgia community.
We are our Farm Bureau.
All right, so we're back. Going forward, do a little bit of a preview, probably for either softball or volleyball, as those are sports I'm going to be covering as far as when the fall comes, as well as the football and basketball and several others. So it's a quick profile for you guys. I'm featuring Houston County softball. They had a really good season last year, 27-7. They won out in their region, going 15-0. I think really impressive that they returned is J.C. Harrelson. She led Georgia in home runs last season with 16. She also had the best ERA on her team with a 2.35. She was 9-4 as a starter last year. Definitely a name to know in the softball realm for her. I'm interested to see how good they will do this year. The good thing for them is that they have a lot of talent returning, right? A lot of juniors and sophomores were on the team last year, so that's going to turn into seniors and juniors. So I think that's one of the key things for Houston County. They ended up losing, I think, deep in the state playoff run to River Ridge 8-0 and Effingham County 7-6. But expect for them to be right back there with all that talent that they have, one of the best home run hitters in the state of Georgia. So I think that experience is going to help them. They're going to be right back in contention for a state title. Just look out for them next season. Definitely excited to see how they're going to look. So that's my softball preview. Very quick, very to the point. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick talk about. So let's keep going. We got some telling the tape to talk about today. One of my favorite segments of the show. Already have it locked and loaded. Hunter Campbell. Hope you're watching. I sent the link to you. Man, I really enjoy looking at your film, right? There's a couple plays I'm going to break down that really stood out to me. I know you're young, but, man, if you keep on this trajectory where you're at, you definitely could, I think, could be a 3 or even a 4-star player. You have very impressive film. I think you will only get better. So let's go ahead and get into it and break down, and I'll tell you the 3 things that stood out to me about Hunter Campbell. All right, so here it is. First play, first snap. He's going to throw a deep ball right here. Love his deep ball accuracy. Hits his receiver in stride. Able to get the ball to him. Love that about his game. This play here, we're going to slow down a little bit. I really love what he does here. And then we're going to do a pause as well. So I'm going to really break this play down. All right, so we're going to start right here. Craig, I'm going to get you to pause it in just a sec. I'm going to actually break this down. Okay, pause it right there. Pause it right there. Okay, so look, guys, there's nothing there, right? The defense played this exceptionally well, right? This just shows the improvisation of Hunter Campbell, right? So if you're going to look at the top of the screen, you're going to see the corner is matched up against the receiver. That's basically blocked off. You can't do nothing. He's hugging the receiver right here, but look at his hand go up in the air, and he's going to say, okay, hey, look, we're going to make a play here. There's nothing here. We're going to make a play. So he tells the receiver, go up the field, right? So he gets off the corner that's on him. Pretty good coverage. I mean, you can't play no better than that. Shows the improv. And then at the end of this, you're going to see the receiver's going to go up the field, get open, and he's going to make a play out of nothing. Again, as you can see right here, defense played this exceptionally well. There's nothing there. Look at the play Hunter Campbell's going to make in order to make a big play and get his offense into the red zone. You can play it. Again, there's nothing there. Look how deep they get. Right into the red zone. Phenomenal play. Nothing is there. He creates another great play here. Out the pocket, on the roll, hitting his receiver. Same thing here. Just quick read option. He's going to read the defense, throw it out, get the ball out pretty quick. Right here, we're going to see another deep ball. Love his deep ball accuracy. Look where he throws the ball. Receiver doesn't have to do much to extend for it. Great deep ball accuracy right there. Same thing here. Roll out the pocket, easy throw, easy pitch and catch. This one right here, another thing about his film, he is a risk taker. He's going to get out of the pocket, look at this throw, look at him fitting into this window, and still make the pass, and it's a touchdown. That's a risk-taking play right there, and then here he's going to show his dual threat ability to run the ball, make a big gain, get it into the red zone. So he's not just a pocket passer, he's also a dual threat quarterback, can get in and out. Great job here, just reading the defense. Nice dot right there for the touchdown. Easy pitch and catch, easy slant and go. Same thing here. Nice pass, getting right in the middle of the zone. Keep the chains moving. All right, same thing here. He's going to get to the right where he's comfortable at, make a nice throw. Good to go. All right, so his film, go look him out. Go look him up. Check him out. I think what really stood out to me, three things, right? One, he's not afraid, right? He's a risk taker. I love that. He does not mind throwing in double coverage, making a play for his team, and being a difference maker, right? Love that about his game, right? That is what you need sometimes at the quarterback position. You'll see at other levels, it may hurt you a little bit, but I like he makes calculated risks, right? He doesn't do it every play. He takes what the defense gives him, but sometimes he's going to be able to throw it. And I think he has good enough of an arm to throw it deep. Number two, deep ball. He can get the ball down the field, exceptional deep ball accuracy, great ball placement, where most of the time you look at his film, the receiver's not having to do too much. They're not having to extend. They're not having to make a diving catch. They're not having to make a miraculous play. Love his deep ball accuracy. Love his ability as well. Goes back to the improvisation. He can extend plays, right? I broke it down in that one play. He was able to go see the defense, right? Nothing there. As we paused it and we showed you. Defense covers that play up very, very well. He does a little bit of improv, extends the play, makes something out of nothing, gets his team into the red zone. That is what you want to see out of your quarterback. He never panics. He never seems like he's flustered. He's always making the right read, keeps his eyes downfield, and does a great job of making the defense pay if they don't get to him. So those are the three things from his film that stands out to me. Improvisation, great deep ball accuracy, and he's a risk taker. So Hunter Campbell, I think he would be a player, obviously under the radar. Not a lot of people's talking about him, but a player I think will have a very, very fine junior season coming up if he continues to use that improv, continue to hone in on that deep ball accuracy, take the risk when they're there. I think he will have a very, very good junior season. So enjoyed breaking down his film. We have another player and we're going to talk about plays for Lassiter. He will be at our 7-on-7 tournament. His name is Levi Mundt. Linked everything below for both of the players I'm talking about today, their Hudl tape and their Twitter. So go check them out. Go give them a follow. Real quick thing, one thing that stood out to me is a nice fluid motion. He's a very good release. I like how it looks coming out. He's very good on his short throw accuracy. And then I'm going to talk about some of the things he can work on and really break that down and how he could take the next step in his game and really flourish in another year as a starter. So let's go ahead and break it down. All right here. So this is one of the things he can work on, right? Deep ball. Receiver has to kind of come back to the ball a little bit, not thrown very, accurately here. See, he has to kind of come back. He already has a defender beat. That is something he can kind of work on there, deep ball accuracy. But, man, love his short-term accuracy, how he gets the ball out quick. He is not taking a lot of time to process what the defense is giving him, right? He's quick. He sees it. Okay, open man. Let me get it out of my hands. Nice curl right there. I'm going to throw it out. Right here, this was just a dot. Love this play right here. Reads the defense well. I mean, we're going to slow it down here. Okay, let's see what he's looking at. Okay, defense coming up. He sees him open. Great dot right there. Receiver's not having to slow down. Great throw for the touchdown. Probably one of his best plays on his film. Really enjoyed looking at that. Same thing here. He's going to get a little bit of a pressure. Nice off the run throw. Same thing here. Pressure's coming. He doesn't get really phased. Throws the ball. Very accurate. Gets him into the red zone. Love that for him. So he shows he got great off the throw ability to run and throw really accurate ball. So really enjoyed that from him. Same thing here, getting out quick decision making, not taking a long time to process, seeing what he's seeing. Okay, same thing here. We're going to see the deep ball, but receiver has to kind of come back to it. So that's the big thing for him. And then this play right here, I want to slow down. So it's going to come back in a second, and I'm going to really break it down and pause it. Okay, so here he is, reading the defense, getting to the right. Here comes the defensive tackle. Okay. So we're going to look at it again. All right, so here it is. I'm going to tell Craig to pause it in just a second. Pause it right here. Okay, so here he's going to make a great throw, right? It's going to go over the defender, and he's going to be able to catch it. But the next step in his game is being able to read it a little bit better, right? So if you see in this play, 20 has the other defensive back beat. He can throw it to him, easy pitch and catch. Look how difficult this throw kind of is and what kind of happens. Go ahead and play it for me, Craig. So he's going to have to throw it high. There's a defender there, right here. That could have easily been a pick. But great throw, but the next level for him is decision making, right? Great job here, throwing off the run. I'm going to break down this play again. Okay. Yeah, push it to the other side, Craig. Yep. All right, now pause it. Not right now. Pause it right here. Nope, you're good. We're going to go back. Okay, pause it right there. Okay, so let's break it down again, right? Great coverage. You're going to see the middle linebacker covering him. Okay, so this is really, the defense is kind of confused. They're like, okay, what am I doing? You're going to see the middle linebacker in the frame of the play. He's going to rush back. He's like, oh, no, I left the guy open. So Mundt does a good job of making the completion, but he makes it harder on himself, right? If he hits the middle of the field, where 23 is, that could possibly be a touchdown or a very big gain, right? He's going to make a more difficult throw to the outside boundary receiver instead of hitting the middle of the field. That could have been a bigger gain. Now roll the tape for me, Craig. See, 23 is open. Look at all that open field he has, right? That's the next level of his game, reading it. We're going to show you one more clip that really breaks it down as well. Same thing. Gets it out fast, great throw, picks up minimal yardage, right? Now I'm going to break it down. We're going to pause it one more time, and I'm going to show you where he can really hurt the defense. Okay, pause right there.
What's the size of y'all's gun?
There you go. Okay, so play it and then pause it for me. Okay, right there. And pause. Now, he's going to hit the backer right here. He's open. Great read. But look at the safety at the top of the screen that you're going to see. You're going to see two corners. You're going to see two DBs, excuse me. You're going to see a corner that's guarding the outward boundary receiver, and you're going to see the safety at the top of the screen that's guarding him too, right? Again, this is a defensive kind of error here, right? So if he holds the ball a little bit longer, there's nobody in the backfield with him. He has plenty of time to throw. He's going to see his inside slot receiver. All he has to do is throw it to him. He goes up the field. That's a touchdown because the top safety is going to guard the second or is going to double team the other player. So if he can see that, break that down a little bit more, go back and look at his film, And then when he's in the game, be able to see this, be able to recognize this, he can have bigger plays. So go ahead and play it for me, Craig. So great throw, but look at the top of the middle of the field. He's wide open. That's a touchdown. The slot already had the slot corner beat. So all he has to do, hit the middle of the field. That's a TD for Lassiter, for the Trojans. They're able to get 6. So again, 3 things, and you can come back to me, Craig. 3 things that stand out to me for him, right? He's really great at with a nice. I like his motion and his release of his throws. That is exceptional with him. He's great with his short-term accuracy, getting the ball out of his hands, not taking a negative play. He's really good with that, picking up positive yardage, right? But if he wants to expand his game and he wants to go to the next level, it's going to be kind of that play recognition, seeing what the defense is doing, right? Reading the safety, reading the defensive back, reading the corner, reading the linebackers, right? Because you're going to see lapses in defenses sometimes where the middle of the field is going to be open, or you're going to have your tight end open. Sometimes the defense puts too much attention to one player or to one side of the field, right? So his next step of his game is reading the defense, being able to see he can get bigger plays that leads to touchdowns, and maybe not even touchdowns, but just getting inside the red zone, getting his team some momentum. That's the next level of Levi Mundt's game. I can't wait to see him. I know he's going to be at our 707 Corky Kell tournament. That's the next step of his game, is being able to read that. And then the deep ball accuracy. That's the only other critique I had. Reading the defense a little better, deep ball accuracy. If he can hit his receivers and stride a little bit more, get a little bit better with his ball placement, get a little bit better with where he's throwing it, he can get bigger, longer touchdowns too, those 40, 50, 60-yard touchdowns. But, again, great things about him, great short-term accuracy, gets the ball out of his hands, very accurate in the short intermediate routes, can work on deep ball accuracy, reading defense a little bit better. That's it, though. He does that, he'll have a great junior season. So that's my thoughts on Hunter, Campbell, and Levi Mundt. Definitely some quarterbacks that continue to get better. I'm sure the coaches are coaching them up well, but that's what stands out to me about their film. Definitely enjoyed breaking it down, analyzing it. I thought it was great. All right, so let's go to our next segment, Latest in Recruiting with Najeh Wilk, me. Major offers from 3-star athlete Logan Sinkfield. He has picked up 5 offers the past week: Yale, Wofford, Middle Tennessee State, Stetson, Southern Illinois. Now, if you don't know who he is, Logan Sinkfield, despite playing with superstar Teo Todd, who had 2,000 yards rushing, 2,000 yards passing, Sinkfield still was able to put up over 800-plus yards and 10 touchdowns. So he's going to be another key piece for Troop in order for them to take the next step, right? So they went pretty deep last year. I think they made the semifinals, but he's a key piece for them in going forward and being able to kind of keep having those big plays, right? Not having to lean exclusively on Teo Todd. But these are major offers for Logan Sinkfield. I expect for him to have another great year. He's going to be at a Corky Kell 707 tournament. Can't wait to see him in person officially, see what he's able to do with Troop. But I think he's been having a really, really great summer and spring, picking up marquee offers. And then 2024 quarterback for Cambridge, Preston Clemmer. He picks up a shorter university offer. He was a starter for them last year, first-year starter. Thought he had a pretty good season. Didn't turn over the ball a lot. 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Played behind a great offensive line. That's why I wanted to bring on the head coach, find out a little bit more about them, how they're going to look, right? They're not going to have Christian Isabor anymore, their star running back. They're not going to have Will Taylor, who's going to Georgia. They're not going to have Brooks Morley anymore. They're not going to have Will Pettit. They're not going to have any of those players. So that's why I wanted to bring him on, talk about it, see how that skill position group is going to look for the Cambridge Bears next season. And then this is a very run-oriented offense. So I think you're going to see, maybe, I do want to find out, maybe they'll air out the ball a little bit more. Lean on Preston Clemmer, who also runs track, had a pretty good track season, had some personal records he set in the 200-meter for himself. So can't wait to see how that team's going to look next year. But Preston Clemmer picks up shorter university offer. Then 2024, Tate Titshaw, who's kind of been getting more notice and recognition this past spring and summer. He's a name to know for Norfolk Coney. Obviously, we know Khalil Barnes is off to Clemson now. He's going to be very big for them. He plays running back. He can play a little bit of slot, too. Expect for him to be a very big piece of that Norfolk Coney offense for Tyler Ardant. Already a 3-star. He has offers from Air Force, Georgia Southern, and Wofford. So look out for Tate Titshaw. He's been on the radar for On 3, 2 for 7. He'll continue to probably blow up in recruiting. Expect for him to have a big season. He's going to be a key piece, key cog for the Norfolk Coney Titans. So look out for that. Now I got to get into our 7-on-7 tournament, man. It's right around the corner. So we will be having a streaming segment for it. I believe in the quarterfinals, some of the marquee analysts in the game in the high school and college realm is going to be there. I'm pretty sure Rusty Mansell, Jeff Centennial, probably Brandon Adams will probably be out there doing some of the coverage there. So who we're going to be playing. So Wednesday, June 14th, we're going to have Cass, Savannah Christian, Cherokee, Walton, Lanier, Bluffton, South Carolina, Cale, Mill Creek, Grayson, Alpharetta, North Paulding, Lovejoy, Troop, Kennesaw Mountain, Parkview, North Gwinnett. Another Walton team was Forsyth, South Gwinnett, Mays, Lambert, Hillgrove, Collins Hill, Creekside, McEachern, Norcross, Warner Robins, and Redan. That's how we have playing on the Wednesday. The event does start Tuesday. I think that is June 13th. So teams we got so far, we got Jackson, Pope, Carver Atlanta, Christian Heritage, Southwest DeKalb, Duluth, Woodward Academy, Centennial, Woodland Stockbridge, Johns Creek, Carver Columbus, Marietta, Cartersville, Miller Grove, Archer, Meadow Creek, Cherokee Bluff, Blessed Trinity, North Atlanta, North Cobb, Denmark, New Manchester, Elsa, GAC, Douglas County, Calvary Day, Monroe area, Veterans, Peachtree Ridge, Central Gwinnett, Carrollton, and Wheeler. And then our last day will be that following week. That will be on the 20th. I believe that is a Wednesday as well. And it's a Tuesday, excuse me. So those teams will be East Jackson, Campbell, Hatfield Charter, Calvary Christian, North Murray, Chapel Hill, Lassiter, Bethlehem Christian, Flint River Academy, Tift County, Charles Drew, Darrell, Best Academy, Heard County, Midtown, Landmark Christian, Dunwoody, Dutchtown, Cook County, Lakeside DeKalb, Winterboro, South Paulding, Salem, River Ridge, Roswell, LaGrange, Camden, South Carolina. That's a new team that's been added. Sandy Creek, Tucker, Hebron Christian. So those are the teams that will be competing in the 7-on-7 tournament. Will be a lot of fun, a lot of marquee players. You got marquee programs, Roswell's, the Mill Creeks, Douglas County's in there, Alpharetta. You have a bunch of good programs that's going to be playing Tift County. So I can't wait to see some of these players, know them a little bit better, find out, how they're going to play. A lot of the times, 7-on-7 is really good because you get to see. It's without, like, plays being in place, but you get to see, like, just kind of the rawness of it, right? It's really basically just skill, right? You being able to get off the ball. You being able to hurt your defender. Quarterback being able to make those precise throws, right? And the cool thing is, I think it's really good reps for wide receivers and quarterbacks. And why I say that is because you have a kind of a shot clock. You have a play clock, right? So you only have, I think, 3 to 4 seconds before you have to release the ball. So it really helps the quarterback because it puts him in that mode already, right, before he gets to the season. Because it's the same thing. You're only going to have about 3 to 4 seconds to throw unless you improvise or extend the play. So you're going to have to be able to read the defense, read the coverage, whether it's cover 1 or if it's cover 3. We have 3, basically 2 DBs, 2 corners, and then a safety up top. Or you're playing quarters coverage where you have, basically 4 defensive backs playing in a zone, and then your inside linebackers are kind of hedging out. So I think that's the most interesting thing, that these quarterbacks get to be able to get the timing. They get to build the chemistry, the camaraderie with their receivers, with their weapons, and really being able to see, okay, hey, if this defender is leveraging you this way, then let's go into this mode instead. Let's go into this play. Let's see if you can beat him on the inside. If he's leveraging outside, beat him on the inside. If he's leveraging inside, beat him on the go route to the outside. So all those things are important. The timing, the practice, preparing for it, I think it's really important. I think a lot of times you see teams that win it, they end up being really good in the season because that means that the quarterback, the receivers, the weapons, they've built kind of that relationship and that trust within each other that they know what they like to do. So I've always loved covering 7-on-7s. They're a lot of fun, so definitely look out for that. But we're going to take one more quick short break before we get into the third segment, of the show. Hopefully with the interview with Cambridge head coach. If not, we'll get into my top 10 headlines for the weekend and close out the show. But we'll be back on the other side.
Our mission has always been to support Georgia farmers. That's why we created Georgia Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, providing financial protection that farmers needed. While this remains the same today, we've grown to protect all Georgians through home, auto, and life insurance. very beginning and into the future, we stand for every Georgia community.
We are our Farm Bureau.
All right, so we're going to keep going. We're going to do a profile for the Cambridge Bears first. If he's able to come on, good. If not, it's all good. But I'm going to do a quick profile, just talk about some of the players I talked to at the beginning of the show that are leaving this really good team. Again, great offensive line, very senior-led. And the interesting thing was I've talked to head coach for Cambridge, Craig Bennett, a couple of times, and he almost told me, I revealed it a couple of times on live TV, that his offensive line last year really begged him to run the football. So you knew what their team was. And what was so cool was that they had the quarterback in Preston, Clemmer, I mentioned a little bit earlier, that could beat you in the air, right? You had a star receiver in Will Anderson, who came just up short the year prior to having a 1,000-yard season. But what I liked is that his team really bought into what he was coaching, what he wanted to do, right? And his main thing was running the football, right? He leaned on Christian Isabor, right, who had a 1,000-yard season over, I think, 10-plus touchdowns. And they bought into that, where they could have even some games beat you through the air, throwing the ball, getting the ball to Will Taylor, some of the weapons on the outside. So I really enjoyed that about their team. But again, great year, 9-3. They went undefeated in the region. They beat Kell basically for the championship, 42-24. They got back in the game late, Kell did. But what really stuck out to me, right, it was 35-24. Kell made a big play. But what happened was they went on a long drive. They were eating clock, right? And that's the key thing you need. Like, I know it's a new era of football, and I know it's like, okay, we're going to be pass happy. We're going to pass the ball a lot. We're going to lean on the pass to be kind of running and things like that. But that drive ate up so much clock, and they were just able to just, like when you watch football, a team is almost laying their will on you. They just out-willed Kell towards the end, and their line just was leaning on them. They was using their body. They was creating the holes for Isabor. They was creating time for Preston Clemmer to throw the football. And that's what made their team so special last year, was their offensive line. Why they were 9-3, And, they had a tough playoff game. They ended the season, I thought, pretty good, right? They had a 55-0 win in September against Chattahoochee. They blew out Great Atlanta Christian 43-13. They beat Centennial 37-10. They beat Kell for the region championship, 42-24. They beat Northview 51-7. They beat North Springs 59-6. They had a close playoff win against Jackson, but then they ran into Cartersville, right? But again, phenomenal team, very well coached. I think they will be intriguing to see next season, and we'll find out more. But I think I just got a text from the head coach. I'm going to see if I can bring him on right now. So give me just 1 second. All right, so we're still waiting on the head coach. Appreciate the audience waiting a little bit for me. He'll be on in just a second. But back to my point, great offensive line. I'm going to talk about the skill position players that they're going to have to replace, right? I want to know more about their spring. How did their spring go? Did they have a spring game? Did they play anybody? What players? You'll see a lot of time players have to step up in big roles, right? What players were that for him? Well, who's going to be his leaders this season, right? His leaders were, last year probably Isabor, probably some of his offensive linemen, right? Defensively, how is he going to look? No longer having Brooks Morley, right? Who's going to be his leading tackler next year? How does his back end? How will that hold up, right? So all those things are really good questions. I think it's going to be interesting to find out how they're going to look. Again, they're going to be in a tough region. I think Kell did get better. I'm not going to lie to you. Bringing over Kyle Vaca, having Peyton Zachary, who blew up his freshman year, he's going to have another year at the helm. I think it's going to be really intriguing to see. And Centennial actually did pretty good last year, too, went 4-2. So we're going to bring him on. Let's go ahead and talk to him, find more about the Cambridge Bears. Hey, Coach, what's going on?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking the time. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely. You as well, man. Yes,
sir. So, Coach, talk to me, right? Last year, phenomenal offensive line. You leaned on them a little bit more. They won a lot of games for you. But how does that position look this year? Who are going to be some of the leaders on the offensive line? Who are some players you're going to be depending on going into the offseason?
Yeah, that was a core group of kids, and you tell people, obviously you win games with those guys, no doubt. And we had, gosh, I think it was 4 of them that had been 3-year starters, and you just don't see that a lot in high school ball, to get 4 guys that started since they were sophomores. And so, with that being said, and actually one of them was a freshman. So, with that being said, we're only returning 2 starters up front. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be some learning curves that's got to take place. And 2 of the kids that are going to kind of come back is Gabe Chigueri. He'll be a 4-year starter for us up front. He's got some interest in some FCS schools and group of 5 schools. And then we have a returning junior started for us last year, Gabe Smith. He's been offered by Arkansas and Miami. Those 2 guys have got to be the bell cow, so to say, up front for us, and hopefully we can fill in and make it work.
And then those 2, what positions do they play? Are they your guards, your tackles, center?
They were both guards. Yes,
Both
sir.
guards. Okay. Okay. So the interior. Got you. And then, just tell me, Coach, who are some players that's impressed you this spring? Just far as know some players can step up in some big roles, but who are those guys that impress you in weight training? Impress you when you guys have the spring practices and things like that? Who's been impressing you so far?
Yeah, so we don't do spring simply because a lot of our guys are in multiple sports.
Gotcha.
We wouldn't have any of the guys out there for spring. So, Preston Clemmer obviously had a heck of a track season, even though we didn't obviously do spring ball. He made the state track events, I think 4 events. So he's going to be a leader for us, really on both sides of the ball. He won't play defense, but he's such a great kid and a great leader. And then Tyler Blaylock as well. He's going to be a running back for us. Had a heck of a track season as well. He's going to be a junior. Jordan Johnson is returning junior, tight end. He's got a Maryland offer. We're expecting some good things out of him from the offensive front. Defensively, I don't know if you're going to get there yet or not. Defensively, we're replacing a lot, and so got a lot of kids that got to get along early. So we'll see how that goes.
I want to talk about that, Coach. What kind of strategy do you have, like when you're replacing a lot of good kids, right? You mentioned your core group on offensive line. You're replacing a lot on defense, right? You're not going to have your leading tackle anymore, Brooks Morley, who's really a force on defense. So what's your strategy? Like, how do you get your guys, not necessarily to buy in, but how do you get them ready to go, focused, no spring? So how do you really get them going?
That's a great question. And this is one of those years where spring football really would have helped us had we been able to do it. But it's a great question because, you can't coach experience. So we can say, you can do this, you can do that, but until they get on the field and play some high school football in Georgia with the competition that we're going to be playing, they're just going to have to learn early. And, so we're going to do some things this summer. We got a couple of padded camps we're going to be at. We're going to be throwing with Buford and doing some things with them. Elite program. So we're going to have to learn a lot in a hurry. Now, up front and tackling and those types of things are just going to have to take place as we go. I mean, there's nothing you can't do anything to get experience until they get it. And I know that sounds simple, but it is what it is.
No, that's true, Coach. I definitely agree. You got to get those real minutes. So you mentioned the padded practices. You mentioned some of the things like that, throwing with the Bufords of the world. But how does the offseason look at Cambridge, right? When do you guys do practice? Is it morning? Is it afternoons? Is it during the nights? Walk me through kind of how the offseason is going to look in practice. Summer practice is going to look for Cambridge this year.
Yeah, we go in the mornings. We go from 8 to 11. It's roughly you're talking about an hour of football, an hour of weights, and an hour of running, conditioning, agility work, speed work, something in that nature. We go 4 a day. I know a lot of people go 5 and some people go 3. We feel like 4 has kind of been our sweet spot over the last few years to get them in. And we do take some Wednesdays that we do some different things for team camaraderie and team building and things like that. And gives the kids a little bit of a break from the monotony of just, 4 days of getting after them a little bit. So get a little bit of a break on Wednesdays, but that's kind of the way our weeks are set up.
Got you, coach. And then this is a kind of a two-part question. Back to the offense one more time. You're graduating Christian Isabor, right? You're gonna have Tyler Blaylock, who's gonna replace him. Last year, you had those four group of guys together. Very good offensive line. You're bringing two back. Last year, we're known for kind of running the football, right? So will we see kind of a difference, or will it kind of be a little bit more split up, right? Where you kind of run and pass. Preston Clemmer had a really good season last year. Told me he's going to be a leader for you. 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Really good decision maker. So will we see more of a kind of a run-oriented offense, pass-oriented, or a little bit of both? And then who are going to be those playmakers for you? Receivers, tight ends. You mentioned the tight end that recently got offered. Who are some other guys that are going to step up for you offensively in those skill position groups?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're just built in a way to run the football, and it's not saying we're big or strong or anything like that. I just feel like I'm a defensive guy by nature, and so with me calling the offense now, I know what the run game can do to you defensively. It wears on you, and that's kind of what we want to do. We're going to throw. Obviously, we're going to let Preston a little bit more. He'll run the ball a little bit more too. So I don't think our run game is going to change that much. And then from a perspective of other guys stepping up, we got two young receivers that have had tremendous all seasons in the weight room, as well as doing some training and some stuff. Is Craig Dandridge and Hudson Koshera. Hudson's kind of gone and shown out a couple times at the NBA camp. I think he was one of the top 4 receivers in the last one. So we got some kids that can step in and do some things. So our identity won't change.
Got you.
Very much at all.
Got you, coach. And then tell me one more question about your quarterback, Preston Clemmer. We've seen he had a great track season, running the 200, placing his state. Last year we seen him using the running game, right? He's a dual threat quarterback. Can we expect some of the same from him this season? He's using a little bit of the read option. He's great at extending plays as well. Will we see a little bit more of that from Preston this year as well?
Yeah, I think his carries are going to go up. Obviously, last year we didn't limit him from a standpoint of telling him not to run the football. It was more about us establishing the run with Christian, and Christian did such a great job. But yeah, he'll carry a little bit more load this year, just from a call perspective.
Got you, coach. Okay, so let's go to defense now. Let's talk about that. I know you're a defensive guy. Okay, we talked about some of the players, but tell me, let's start with the front and then go to the back end, right? How does your front look? As far as your front seven, who are some guys going to be on that D-line you're going to be leaning on, kind of expecting to step up for you, as well as at the linebacker spots as well?
Yeah, I tell you what, we've been very fortunate in the last few years. We haven't had to play many kids both ways. Really, just one was Jack Marlowe. He kind of played everything for us. So we're gonna look at that this year. We're gonna have some of those guys up front from offensive perspective go across and play some defensive line. Guys like Chigueri I just mentioned and Jordan Johnson. We're gonna have to play over there as well because we're replacing, I think, every starter on the D line. And every linebacker, I think we get one safety back. So it's a complete overhaul. We had some kid experience in games last year. We were fortunate to be able to do that. So that's going to help a little bit, but we lost 27 total, and a majority of those guys were defensive guys. So that's going to be where we have to catch up and get those guys ready in a hurry.
Gotcha, coach. And then just how does your back end look? I know you say you bringing back a safety, or is any more returning starters there on the back end? How does that how does that group look?
Yeah, I actually forgot. We actually returned a corner starter as well, so I forgot about that.
Okay.
Ray Taylor, Cole Giacobbe will be those two guys in the back end that have started. Cole was one of our leading tacklers, so it's just a matter of getting the right fit for those kids on defense. And like I said, we're going to be very open-minded in terms of guys playing both ways, or the Koshera kid and Dan, if they got to go play some defense, they're going to have to do that. And so we're going to do what we need to do, hopefully, to be successful and develop those kids in the right spot at the right time.
Gotcha, coach. A couple more questions. I'll let you go. One, I want to go to offensively, but kind of talking about your role, right? You told me you call plays. You're going to call plays. How much pressure is that, being the head coach and also calling plays, making sure the offense is working, kind of monotonously, working in in unison, being able to get it to where you want it to be?
Honestly, so a few years ago, and I didn't. Well, first few years as a head coach, I called the defense, and then I took some years off in terms of calling plays on either side of the ball, and it's for me personally, I didn't get to coach kids, and I didn't have a position, and so it was not fun at all. So knowing that I got in this job to coach kids. It wasn't necessarily be a head coach. That was a desire, but I wanted to coach kids and have relationships, and it's hard to do when you're just a paper guy and a manager. So that's why I did it, and I love it. I played defense in college. I coached defense for most of my 27-year career, and I just took some of those things that I didn't like, as well as the people that I played under in college and whatever, and coached under. So what does an offense do that you don't like? You don't like to defend, and so we just kind of came together. And there's no designing offenses anymore. I mean, I'm not saying we designed our offense because we're doing the same thing people do, but we just try to do the things that other people don't like. And so I enjoy it. To me, no pressure. I think it gets you more involved with the kids. It gets you more involved in the game. Yeah, there's some time factor there sometimes, but just learn to manage that. And to me, the management side of it's less important than having those relationships with those kids and being able to coach them every day. So.
Definitely, and then let's talk about some of the players that are graduating. I just want to know, how you felt, how cool of a feeling was to see them go to the major schools, and just kind of an updates on where some of the guys are going. So I know one is Will Taylor. I know he's going to Georgia. How cool was it to see him kind of get that, PWO offer from them, and then, the update on kind of Christian Isabor, and then obviously Brooks Morley and Jack Marlowe. Just where are they going, and how cool was it to see kind of them graduate recently, and just seeing them on the next level.
Yeah, it was cool, obviously, to see them graduate, but, man, I'm going to miss those guys. Those are some guys that have put in a lot of years for us. Marlowe and Chaffin's been 4-year starters. Morley was a 4-year letterman, 3-year starter. So we had a great group of kids that got to go on and have an opportunity at the next level. Tommy Broderick with Villanova, Walker Hicks, Fordham, Will Pettit, Drew Pettit brothers are going to Marshall. Let's see, I'm trying to make sure I'm remembering everybody. Will Taylor, obviously, with Georgia. That was a unique situation. I'm going to grab something right quick.
Yep.
That was a unique situation for us because, we felt like Will was a really, really good player. Nobody would he had some interest. Nobody would pull the trigger on him. And UGA kind of called out of the blue and said, we love him. So that was really cool. We were worried it was just a fake deal for a little while, and Phil was worried. We had to confirm it, but yeah, that was a really cool thing. I miss everybody. Christian is still in the decision making in terms of what he's going to do. Elliot Kuykendall, defensive lineman, is going to Mercer to continue his career, and I think that's it. And then obviously Jack Marlowe's going to the University of Michigan to play lacrosse. So that's some really good players. That makes me a much better coach on offense. So
Definitely, Coach. And last question, I'll let you get out of here. Just talk to me, Coach, about just such a great culture you've built there at Cambridge. And we've talked about it before. I've talked to you multiple times, and you told me like where it started, things you've been through, and just where you got it today. And I just think you do a good job with some of the kids. I've talked to some of them. They're very humble. They come from great backgrounds, but you just seem like you maximize the talent that you have. Just how are you able to consistently do that and have kids that buy into what you're doing, what you're building, and the success of this program?
Well, first of all, it's very humbling you say that. I appreciate it. Been fortunate to have some really good kids, honestly, but I'm a firm believer that culture will defeat strategy and sometimes defeat talent, and so we've got them to buy into that when I first came here and people were saying, oh, you got these kids that are going to be very fluent, they're going to be soft, they don't know how to work, and we just fought that from day one, and we told them, you're going to work, we're going to be blue collar, we're going to be tough. I think that's something you can develop, mental toughness especially, and so we work on that continuously with how we work and how we go about our practice days. And it's one of those things too where, as a head coach, I think I've told you this. I let it go for a few years there, and I thought the culture was just going to maintain itself, and it didn't, and it resulted in some of our more talented teams being some of our worst record teams. And so we really put that on the forefront and how we treat our kids, and which is one of those things where it wouldn't work maybe anywhere else, but that's why we don't do spring. It's multiple sports. We push it. I think it creates a toughness in them and a competition drive in them. Then they kind of miss football a little bit. So they're ready to come back and they're ready to go. And, we're not continuously, yes, I would say it's close to a year-long program, but what we found is we take some things away from our kids so they can be kids. They appreciate it. And then they play hard for us. And that's, it's nothing we've done special or no special sauce or anything like that. They just they play hard for us. I think it really stems to relationships.
Got you, Coach. Well, as always, I know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much for just taking this time and do this interview with me. Love what you're doing with your program. Phenomenal, Coach. Very humble. I just want to say thanks again, Coach. Hopefully I have you on a little bit before the season or during the season this year. And go Bears.
Absolutely, man. I so appreciate what you do and how you do your job, man. It's a blessing to have somebody that understands the game and understands the insights and relays those to people. So thank you so much for what you do.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So that was the head coach for Cambridge, doing a great job. Found out a little bit more about his team. Again, overhauling a lot, but I know he'll have them ready to play. They've been winning region titles. They've been competitive. And just a quick overview looking at their region for next year. Again, I think they'll be right in there. I think Kale has taken a step forward this year. I think they will be very competitive, but they're going to have themselves, Cambridge, Kale, Centennial, Great Atlanta Christian, Chattahoochee, North Springs, and Northview. I still think they'll be able to do it. And I'm really curious to see Preston Clemmer, as he mentioned, as head coach, Bennett mentioned, he's taking some steps forward, being a leader, not turnover prone, great decision maker, ran track. Curious to see what year he's going to have. And as he mentioned, 2 young receivers. How quick can they come to the realm? How quick can they improve and be major factors for the offense? But as he mentioned, they're a run-dominant team. It's going to stay that way. Is it or not? Tyler Blaylock will be a player to watch out for them. And I'm pretty sure they're going to have another running back in there spelling him as well. So, and Preston Clemmer is going to be a part of the running game as well. So it will be very interesting. Can't wait to see and follow that program next year. Again, he's a great coach. Go look what he's doing at that program. Phenomenal job. So let's keep going. We're about to close out the show. It is about that time. Top 10 headlines for the weekend. Here we go. KJ Smith balls out in the spring game. Just 2 incompletions. Very impressive tape. What I was talking about with the 2 quarterbacks earlier. And I think Campbell had some of this. And I know Levi Mundt will continue to prove upon this. But that ball placement, right? KJ Smith got it. Like, he's gotten markedly better compared to his last year to this year, right? He was still making the throws. He was still extending plays. He was still reading defenses good. But the next level is just the ball placement, and it seemed like he was not missing any throws. That was a talented team last year, right? They had Ethan Kreit. They had Nakai Davenport who's coming back. They had another weapon offensively I'm losing sight of. I can't think of his name. But they're going to have Dylan Williams, right? Dylan Williams is going to be that number 1 receiver for them. So what steps can he take? He did good in their spring game against Wall. 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, I think over 150-plus yards. So that's a player to watch out for as well. But he landed an Alabama State offer for KJ Smith. I expect for him to have a big senior season. Roswell was right there. I believe they made the semifinals. They lost to Gainesville. That game was televised on Peachtree TV, on the network that we work with. So curious to see what steps he takes forward. He looks very, very good. So look out for that. And then number 2, Dutchtown has a new head coach, Josh Pierce, leading their girls program. He just won the job. Dutchtown has not had a lot of winning seasons recently. I expect for him to come in, be a new voice, give them a new direction. That will be interesting to see how the program is going to turn out. Then back to lacrosse, number 3. Mason Ball for Lovett. He was named an All-American this year. The senior had 66 goals, 17 assists, played pretty good in the championship game. I think he had a few goals there. He helped lead Lovett to a state championship berth. Unfortunately lost, but he had a phenomenal season, and he was named All-American in his senior year. Doesn't get much better than that. Wanted to give him a quick shout-out and what he's been doing with the program. All right, number 4, Norfolk Coney girls golf continue their dominance. They have secured their 3rd consecutive state title. They're having a great run at it. They're really making some noise out there in 4A. They continue to show how good they are. So I wanted to give them a shout out as well. They're having a great run at championships. All right, and then number 3, this is a Twitter post. This is from Walton Fast Pitch. As I said, guys, they just announced their roster for the upcoming fall. We're hitting that time. As you guys know, softball season begins around August, goes until like the end of October, early November. So it's right around the corner. Teams are getting the rosters going. And they've already announced their rosters for varsity. So they're going to have Caroline Bell, Blakely Caldwell, Shea Chapman, Claire Clipperly, Molly Evans, Julia Goldberg, Audrey Guru, Kate Holland, Tara Kacharski, Grace Manis, Katie Murphy, Kinsey Adi, Sloan Patrick, Julia Rutledge, Kiva Tracy, and then Alex Volter Ding. So that's the roster for Walton. Last year, they got into playoffs. They haven't not had a winning season since 2015, 2016 when they were 13-12. They have made some playoff bursts, but we'll see what steps they can take forward as a program this year. It's been a long time, been about 7-8 years since they've had a winning season at 13-12. So we'll see how they're going to look. Now, this is major news at number 6. Per Recruits Zone, former Parkview small forward, 2025, kind of a well-known player, already has a profile on 247 Sports. I don't think they've ranked him, but his name is Jacob Wilkins. He just transferred to Grayson High School. So pair him with Jakari Harris, 4-star, Amir Taylor, Caden Allen, CJ Holland, and more for Coach Jeffrey Pierce. They're going to be a team to watch out for. They made it very deep. They ran into the behemoth of Wheeler in the playoffs and the semifinals. Again, number 1 player in the country, top, I think, 40 or 50 player in Ayrton Page. That team was loaded. Jelani Hamilton going to Iowa State. They had a loaded team. So I expect for Grayson to be right back there. Wheeler's going to lose a little bit of their talent out there in 7A. 7A will be very, very interesting. So look out for that. Wilkins also has offers from Indiana, Alabama, and Georgia. Again, this was reported by Per Recruits Zone. Major transfer going to the Grayson program. Look out for that. And then number 7, former Pace Academy star and Orlando Magic big man Wendell Carter will be hosting a camp next Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. He is trying to give back to the youth. I think it's very interesting. He's going to have, I think, a little bit of class he said he's having and a financial literacy course. So I think that's very good for the young players. I think it's between 8th and 12th graders. So, again, very important because that's not taught in school. Maybe now it's getting more implemented, but that was not taught when I was in school. So I think that is something big, especially when you start making millions or you get to that level of the NBA, or even don't have to make NBA to make millions anymore or professional. You can make it with the NIL if you're a pretty good player. And I think that's important for the kids to know how, balance your finances, how to invest your money, get it to grow for you, how to be able to not make absurd purchases, buy things you don't really need. All that stuff is very vital to your future. So I think that's something definitely to watch out for. His camp, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. next Saturday, June 3rd. Definitely go check that out. And then number 8, Houston County finished the job, won it all against Pope, talked to their head coach. He's doing a great job there. They won it all, nationally ranked now. Final polls, national polls will come out mid-June. We'll be interested to see where they land. They had a phenomenal year. Ran through their region, was undefeated. Parkview pretty much had that title throughout the whole season. They ended up losing the Lowndes in the state championship game. Houston County won. I'm not going to lie. I think they were top 11. I wouldn't be surprised if they're top 6, top 5 in the national rankings. Houston County had a really good season. Very deep team, very good group, great pitchers, great batting. Head coach did a great job with them, and they won it all. Host the title. Look out for Houston County next season. And number 9, Warwood Academy stands out, picks up Providence offer. Her name is Cameron Herring. She has another offer to her belt. She just recently picked up Kentucky. She's continuing to kind of get those major offers coming in, heading into her junior year. I thought she was very big for them last year. She played some good minutes for them. She really showed she has a nice handle, ability to finish around the rim. She can shoot the ball as well. That's a player to watch out for Woodward Academy. She will have a more increased role next year, probably being the featured scorer for the Woodward Academy. All right, and then number 10, this is major. Per On 3 and Chad Simmons, 5-star. Sammy Brown has visits with Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Oklahoma, and he plans to wrap up his recruitment after these visits. All right, so bookmark it. Again, I'm telling you, he's going to – my crystal ball prediction is that he's going to Clemson, right? He's going to wrap up his recruiting. Guys, give me a thumbs down. He's going to wrap up his recruiting after those 5 visits this summer, so expect a commitment decision from 5-star Sammy Brown, who will play Alpharetta the first week of the season. Expect for that towards the end of the summer. And again, when it comes out, I told you guys he's going to Clemson University. That's where I'm putting my money on. I know everybody's saying UGA, but that's my crystal ball prediction. So that was just reported by On3 expert and recruiting analyst and director Chad Simmons. So look out for Sammy Brown, where he's going to end up going. So that's all I got for you guys this weekend. I don't think anything major is going on. I think we got a game tonight. See if Miami Heat can close the deal against the Boston Celtics. If Boston wins, they give them some momentum. They were down 3-0. Obviously, a lot of people think Boston is the better team. But we'll see. I think Miami's going to close it out tonight, move on to the finals to play the Nuggets. But we'll see what happens. But no major events that I can think of. It's Memorial Day weekend, so get a drink. Maybe go to a carne asada. If you guys don't know what that is, it's similar to a barbecue. It's in Spanish. So go to a carne asada, go to a barbecue. Monday, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be off. Go spend some time with family and friends and enjoy yourself. I'll say a little Spanish term to close out the show. Ten cuidado y nos vemos el próximo jueves. So have a great week, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Craig will have a jam-packed show tomorrow. I'm sure he's going to have some great guests. Tune into that. We will see you guys very, very, very soon. So thanks again for tuning in. Peace.